Today we learned indeed. Okay, so the computer's running off of the Ethernet. Why is Video Ninja being so stupid then? Who knows? Who knows? Computer stuff is just gonna do what it does. But anyway, we are back now. So we're back. But yeah, lesson learned. Plug in the Ethernet before the stream starts. That way you don't got to deal with all these shenanigans. But in the meantime, let me get my paint stuff together. Okay, which side would be best? Oh, this isn't oil, is it? No, that can't be oil. Okay. If I have to connect my Wii remote to my PC, it crashes my stream too. Oh no. Learned that the hard way a few times, did you? Dang. All right, so we're going to get our paints together. So we're going to need, first and foremost, a bunch of titanium white, which will, oh, it's not even open. I should open it. See what happens when you're away from the game for too long? You forget simple things like opening your paint bottles. Just put a bunch of white paint there. Next we got red. Some cadmium red hues. Don't worry, it's not actually cadmium red. It's just the hue. So there's nothing dangerous up in here. No chemicals that will make us ill, which is a bonus. Got some cadmium yellow hue, so there's no actual cadmium in this either, which is good. Then we've got cerulean blue, which is my favorite blue. Well, my favorite blue to paint with at the very least. So we'll be needing a fair amount of that. And finally, a whole lot of Mars Black. I like Mars Black a lot better than Ivory Black. I feel that it's a more true black, at least that's how it dries for me. Now, y'all remember what I said back when we used to paint on the regular on here? You should never open paint tubes with your teeth. It's a good way to end up with a mouthful of paint. As per usual, you should do as I say and not as I do. So here we go. We got our palette full of paint here. And now all we need, tasty. Very tasty indeed. Now all we need, because our water's already down here, we just need a brush, and we're gonna need a big brush because we are filling in this space to begin with. So we will use this brush here because it is currently the biggest brush that I have. Pick this out of the way because I do want to have this just sitting here beside. All right. And I'm going to split screen you all. You won't see anything on your end. It's more for me. Just so I can look at our reference photo. Oh, also, Redria, I should do this on camera. Thank you for the glug. Much appreciated. All right. And, hell yeah. Well, here we go. We are finally, at long last, putting paint to canvas. Well, I've been listening to a Scottoon Network cover of Spider Dance this week. Made me think of you. Oh, nice. What particularly about it made you think of me? One of my light bulbs, my overhead light is out. Get that fixed. So what we're doing here is just kind of laying in the background, mixing a little bit of blue with the black, because pure black doesn't always exist in nature. It's very rare. There's always some other color with it. Add a secondary color in behind. It's like a jazzy saxophone cover. It isn't Spider Dance your fave? Or is it Here We Are? Oh, yes. I really do like Spider Dance. But yeah, Here We Are is my favorite. But Spider Dance is very good. That's really cool. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, Spider Dance is very good. But yeah, Here We Are technically is my favorite Undertale track. Speaking of which, I was going to actually, this past weekend, I was going to attempt doing my first Undertale speedrun, but I had to do some more practice and found out that I am terrible at a lot of the boss fights, and I don't want to be laying down times where I'm like dying to the bosses. So I'm going to do a little bit more practice before I attempt it. I'm going to be doing the True Pacifist glitchless run. Because, I mean, True Pacifist, that's my favorite way to play the game. I won't even touch Genocide because I don't want to kill those guys. And also, you don't get to hear Here We Are if you don't do the True Pacifist setting. So, do it. I mean, my speed run of Ori and the Blind Forest is like 4 hours. That's fair. Yeah, I'm not worried about getting a slow time. I just don't want to get a slow time because I'm bad at the boss fights, you know? So, I just have to practice a little bit more. Particularly the one that's kicking my ass right now is the one with the Undyne. I can't move the arrows fast enough. I gotta get better at it. But that will come. So, about halfway down in this painting, I'm going to start painting a more grayish undercoat here. Fair. I practiced Ori and practiced Celeste too for my speedruns. I find that I'm worse on stream, probably because of commentary. That's fair. Yeah, I probably will be too, to be honest. But that's okay. I can't not talk to you guys while I'm doing those. Top portion of this is done now. The sky portion, if you will. Now we're going to move down here. All right, time to lurk, but I'll be hanging around. Hey, thanks, Frederick. Thank you for the lurk. Much appreciated. I always feel like somebody's watching me. And I'm glad that you're adjusting well to your new job, and congratulations on that again. And thanks for hanging out. We'll see you around. Enjoy your lurk. Like I said, down here we're going to be doing a little bit of more of a grayish underpainting. It'll still be dark, but it'll definitely be more gray than black. Kind of set the tone for the piece, because down here is going to be our street level. But yeah, right now what we're doing is we're just cutting in color. Cutting in a bunch of color before we put shapes over top of it. Because really that's all painting is. Whether you're doing abstract or whether you're doing photorealistic, hyper-realistic paintings, it's just a bunch of color and shapes. That is all that painting is. And it can be intimidating. But when you break it down to just color and shapes, it becomes a little less, in my opinion. Break it down to its base elements. It's sort of like my first time driving in Toronto, which for those of you who don't know is one of the biggest, most populous cities in Canada, if not the biggest, most populous. And growing up, I was always so nervous about having to drive in the big city, but especially Toronto, because I'm from a small little town. And I remember that I was always so frightened at the prospect. And then a friend of mine was having a show up here. And I had just gotten my license, just gotten my G2, which is there are 3 levels of licensing in the province that I live in Canada. You have your G1, which is basically like your learner's permit, your G2, and your G. Your G2, basically you have most of the privileges that a full Class G driver has, except you can't have any alcohol in your system, I don't believe. And if you're under the age of 18, you can't be out past a certain time. But I was like 24 or something like that. So I could be out after dark with a G2, and I didn't have any alcohol in my system. So, I wanted to go to this art show, but it was up here in Toronto. So on the way up from my hometown of Chatham, I refused to take the highway because I was too scared to, right? Refused to take the highway. So I took all the back roads and then made it to Toronto. And then my GPS glitched out and took me on the Gardner Expressway. And I didn't realize it until too late. But everything was okay. I only got honked at once, and it wasn't actually on the highway. It was on a side street. Once I got off the highway. But I learned something over the course of that, and I promise that this has a point that relates to painting and how daunting painting can feel sometimes. And the point is, once I got over the sticker shock of, I'm driving in Toronto, Ontario. Once I broke it down, all it is it's roads and cars and signs. And guess what? There's more of them up here. There's more of them. But it's the same thing you got in Chatham, TJ. There are roads, signs, and cars down there. That's all it is. And then once I came to realize that that's all that it was, I wasn't so daunted by driving anymore in Toronto, and I actually took the highway all the way back to Chatham once the show was over. So it was a good learning experience, very good learning experience. And painting is much the same way. Once you learn that paint is just color and shapes, and you can do whatever you want with those colors and shapes, it becomes, at least, like I said, in my opinion, a lot less daunting to try and do a painting. Much less daunting. But your experience may vary, of course. You may find it just as daunting as you did before, and that's okay. Painting isn't for everyone, but if you're looking to get into it, just realize at the end of the day, it's just a bunch of colors and shapes. That's all it is. And again, that goes if you're doing something abstract or something more realistic. It's all the same. Just how you paint those colors and shapes might vary. They might differ depending on what it is that you're trying to do. I think this is a pretty good base layer. Not too bad at all. Yeah. Not too bad at all. So next, very important, is washing our brushes. Which this is acrylic paint, so you just need some water. Of course, the bigger the brush, the more it takes to actually clean it. But I'm going to put this on the ground. We're gonna let that sit because we don't really need this this brush any longer. Got my trusty rag here. Clean up any spills. There we go. Okay, so what are we gonna do next? I think next, well, we gotta wait for this to dry a little bit, but next I'm gonna start blocking in with what do you call it? A white charcoal pencil. I'm gonna start blocking in where our lights are gonna be, where the street is, where the sky is, all that kind of stuff. So I will grab that now. If it is in fact in here, which I hope it is. But my white charcoal pencil is not in here. That means it must be in my handy dandy charcoal bag. Hope y'all are having a good Thursday so far. Hope it's not been too hectic and crazy. And if it has been hectic and crazy, I hope that you finally have some respite from it. You can relax a little bit and just hang out here. I'm thankful that you're able to hang out here and that you chose to hang out here. Uh, you know, it feels good to finally not only be back to streaming, but back to like, doing stuff like this, painting for y'all, and it's a good feeling. It is a very good feeling. Oh, all right, how are we doing for? Oh, that's still really fun. So we gotta wait a little bit longer. That's all right. I'll talk a little bit while we're waiting. I'll talk a little bit about this painting. So, this painting is probably the first painting I did where I was really like, wow, okay, I really like this. This is called Queen and Park, and this is actually a rainy night at an intersection in my hometown of Chatham, Ontario. Much like the painting that we're going to be doing on the wall here. It's also a rainy night in my hometown of Chatham. But yeah, this is Queen Street and Park Ave. Well, close to the intersection. The intersection is actually here. This here in the foreground, that's a side street just before, and you're looking down Queen Street. Got a little gas station over here. There's a subway back here. But this was the first painting because I wanted to learn how to paint light. And I didn't know how to do it. And I was looking at my reference photo. And I was like, well, let's just try to do exactly what it is that we see. And what I noticed is that when you paint what you see, because I had a high school art teacher, my favorite teacher, Mrs. Snyder, always taught us paint what you see, not what you think you see. Draw what you see, not what you think you see. Your brain will fill in, and your brain is an idiot. So, normally I would like paint like red, and I'd be frustrated because I can't get it as red as I wanted to and as bright, because red paint isn't all that bright. Matter of fact, it tends to wash out. But then I decided, well, let me paint what I see and not what I think I see. And what I saw in the reference photo is that while the light is red, like these lights here, these traffic lights, while they're red, the glow around the traffic light is what's red. The light itself is bright white. And that's just the way that the aperture worked on my camera, right? That's the way my camera on my phone took the picture. But if you have the glow of the red and then white in the middle, it will still come off as red, right? Because those lights there look more red, even though they're bright white, they look more red than the lights surrounding, like the street lights and all that. And then I thought, well, let me try to do all the rest of these lights the same way, where there's a haze outside of them, in this case it's a white haze, and then we just go from there. And it actually turned out to work pretty well. And same with the same principle down here with the reflections. The haze around the reflections are, with the exception of the yellow, right? Because those were actual things that were just yellow. But the haze around the red traffic lights will be red, but the light itself will be white. And it actually worked out really, really well. So, yeah, this was the first painting that I did, because I did this in 2018. Started it in 2017. I had just moved up to the Toronto area, the GTA, going to the Station Gallery and participating in their, on Monday mornings they had, because I was unemployed at the time. When I moved up here, it took me 2 months to get a job. And then I ended up getting that job. But on Monday mornings, I would go to the open studio at the Station Gallery and I would work on this. And yeah, this was whenever I look at this, it's just a good time. It's an exciting time because I just moved up here, didn't know anybody other than my cousin who I lived with. I had another cousin who lived in Mississauga, but that was on the other side of the city because I moved up to Ajax, where I'm living now. Funny how that works. And yeah, this was a lot of work, a lot of experimenting, a lot of figuring out, and it all worked out. So I really, really like this painting. Hey, Lord, welcome in. How are you? And thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I was just going into some of the story about this painting, um, because we're going to be doing a painting like it. Uh, is this drying? Oh, it's getting there. It's just tacky now. Good. Yeah, how you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, I was just kind of explaining the story behind this painting because we're going to be painting another street scene behind me here to go with this painting on our living room wall. So, right above our TV. But yeah, and I was explaining how when you're doing lights and all that, a lot of times there shouldn't be an ad break. What is going on here? Okay, I guess there's going to be an ad break in 9 minutes. I don't know why. That's annoying. But anyway, I was explaining how when you're painting lights and all that, because I was using a reference photo, even though those traffic lights in the center of the frame there, even though they're red lights, it's only the haze around them that's red. The middle is bright white. So, yeah, man, everything's good. We are settling into our new house. My wife as well. Life as well. We're all doing good. We're all just revving up for Christmas. But yeah, everything's good. How are you? I hope everything is going well for you as well. Oh, my hat. Get on there. There we go. So now that this is a little more tacky and not completely wet, we can start outlining things. There we go. So I'm gonna bring the camera a little bit closer. You're gonna get some real fun angles of my face. But it'll help to have my, because that's what has the reference photo on. So let's see, it's gonna let me draw on it. Not really. That's okay. We'll just wait a little bit longer for it to. If I would have had my wherewithal, I would have painted this before, and then we could like start right in on the painting. But that's all right. Basically, what's going to happen in this painting is it's a street scene. You're going to have rows of street lights coming down toward the center. There's a little store over here because this is an intersection as well. Yeah, there's going to be like the road right down the center. A lot of reflections off of the pavement, some puddles and everything. It should be a good painting. Hopefully, it's a good painting. But yeah, that is the plan. We just gotta wait for this to dry a little bit. So actually, while we do that, I mean, it's not gonna dry in this time, but I am going to take a quick break. I need more water anyway. Take a quick break. I'm gonna run an ad so that we don't get interrupted with ads for the rest of the stream. And then, yeah, so I will be right back, everybody. Stay tuned. All right, we're back. And we will not be accosted for ads for another hour. So, we'll see. Okay, let's I think what we're going to do actually is we're going to very, very roughly just kind of cut in where all this stuff is. With some white paint. Because this isn't going to be dry enough in time for us to actually do anything on it. So I'm just going to get a very small brush. And just kind of cut in with white paint. And kind of landmark things. So not a whole lot of paint. A very small amount of paint. Just to kind of landmark stuff. That will come that way. Then there's a light here. A light up here. And then our main attraction is the traffic light there and traffic light there. Yeah. And then we want to cut in the other traffic signal there. There's one above the light here. That's facing us. Then up here, following the perspective, because the center of our painting is basically right here. That's our center point. And then following that, coming over here, perspective is very important, you know. We have that over there, and we're going to cut in the other side of the street. Yeah. This doesn't have to be a completely straight line here, because again, we're just kind of landmarking stuff. We're not too concerned with everything being perfect right now. There we go. Then, of course, we're gonna cut in the center of the street. Down here. Again, like I said, this doesn't have to be perfect. We're just kind of putting stuff where it should go. here. We got a big old light up here. Who's texting me? There we go. Now there's a light up here, but that's a very faint light. Yo, Squid, how's it going? Welcome on in. How are you? And then we said that traffic lights there, so just a string of lights down here. And then an opposing string of lights coming up this way. And then off of a pole that's over here, we're gonna have the other traffic light about there. Not too shabby, me. Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm doing well, thank you. Actually, no, I don't want it there. Now that I think about it. It's actually going to be over a bit here. But there's some lights here from the parking lot that we can cut. Yeah, we're just doing some actual like real life painting for the first time in ages. All right. So with that, let me see if I can make a nice green haze. The light from a traffic light is actually kind of an interesting shade of green. It's actually very tough to get that particular shade of green. But we're just going to play around until we get an acceptable facsimile of it. Because everything else is cut in the way I want it to be, so. Or at least it's close enough. Then we can play with the perspective a little bit later. I think we need a little bit of black in this. And a little bit of white. Kind of wash it out a little. Some more blue and yellow. And surprisingly, a touch of red. There we go. And I don't want a whole lot of paint on the brush. Actually, I want very little paint on the brush. But what we're doing now They're basically making a haze, a green haze. And the more paint you have on the brush, the more difficult it'll be to actually fade it out. Because you want it to disperse fairly evenly. Actually, you know what would help is having a slightly larger brush. No, that's not going to be big enough. There we go. Actually, just a minute, everybody. I just got to look up a code for my wife. That apparently went to my email. Get back to this. Oh, why are you taking so long to load? Come on. Six. All right, I'll be right back, everybody. There we go. I have returned. All right. So we'll come back here and we'll grab some more of that color. Some more of it in the center. Then we'll use this bigger brush to actually spread it out. Kind of fan it out at the edges. So. You might notice that there's a little kind of, I don't want to call it a divot, but there's kind of like an empty space forming in the middle of the haze, and that's what we want. At least that's what I want. That's going to tell us where to put our light. So now we're going to do the same thing over here, where I want the other light. We'll put that in the middle there. And then haze it out. Oh, that one I needed a little bit more paint. Put a little bit more of this center, just to brighten it up a bit. Like I said, just kind of spread it out. Create a nice halo effect. So that we get the sense that it's a green light. There we go. Now, we'll take our small brush. Going to put like a bright center in the middle. But you see, it's not like super, super bright, which is where the white paint will come in just a second. We'll add a little bit more on this other one. Just like so. Okay, now we're going to clean this brush off. Get it nice and clean. So we're going to throw this in there. And now we're going to throw in the very, very bright white light in the center of that green to really give the sense that this light is shining brightly and giving off a nice green glow. A lot of paint on your brush for this. Now, because it's white paint, it's going to pick up a little bit of the green on the first pass, but that's okay. After all, it is a green light. And we'll do the same on the other one. Try to do it roughly the same size because they're both the same distance from the viewer. There we go. Not too bad. Now that's the first pass. We got to let this dry just a little bit in between the passes. Otherwise it's just going to blend together and then you end up starting to rub paint off the canvas, and that's not what we want. So we're just going to leave that there for a second. Just let it marinate. let it sit. And then after that, we're going to start blocking in all of the really bright white. Well, we're going to start putting in the haze around the lights is what we're going to do. But all these other lights are white lights, so it's going to be more of a white haze that's around them, as opposed to a green haze. I just realized that I'm talking to my laptop. I'm not talking to you guys because that's where the chat is. So, but I need to be talking to the camera. So, okay, that should have dried enough, I think. I'm going to start at the center. Still not dry enough, but that's okay. There's ways around that. You just put more paint on the brush. And just be more careful. I am using my phone as my camera here, but if any of you have any recommendations for some good external webcams that have good resolution and can pick up more of this detail, I certainly would not be opposed to recommendations. I'll ask Santa for them. But there we go. So you got the nice black or the nice blackness out here, get the green haze, then you get the nice bright light in the center that isn't completely white because it blended in with some of the green. And I might just leave it that way actually, instead of doing like super bright white, but also it isn't just green. It gives the impression that there's a green light, but it's actually mostly a white light. But now we're going to start blocking in the haze around these other lights, especially the ones over here. Around this, it's going to end up being like a strip mall over here. On the back of this. Oh, it's just this white paint that isn't completely dry. All right. So same principle applies. We're going to get white paint on our brush, but we're going to take most of it off. Start with a center point, and then take off as much of that paint as possible. And then just start building a haze around it. Also helps if your brush is drier than this one is. So we'll dry that out a little more. So this corner actually is the corner of Sandy Street and I think Grand Ave in Chatham. Yeah, that's the Circle K that's on. There's a Circle K over here, and then like a big basically strip of a bunch of like smaller stores and all that.
the Circle K used to be a Max, and it wasn't until I moved up this way that I realized that Max, the full name for Max, because it was MAC apostrophe S, the full name was Max Milk. I had never heard it referred to that before. Sort of like in Chatham when I was growing up, there's a Food Basics there, and I didn't realize that, like No Frills and other such stores, you can franchise them out. Back in the day, yeah, you can franchise them out. Because like the No Frills that my mom worked at was Dean and Barb's No Frills, right? I knew that was they franchised it, right? But I didn't realize that other stores did that. So Food Basics in Chatham was Bob's Food Basics. I didn't know that the company itself was just Food Basics. Had no idea. Especially because we didn't go to Food Basics all that often because it was on the other side of the city. So I had no clue. So cut to, I had started dating my wife, and we drove past a Food Basics, and I was like, "Oh, there's Bob's," and she's like, "What?" I'm like, "There's Bob's. We have a Bob's in Chatham too, because that's what everyone in Chatham called it. We didn't call it Food Basics. We call it Bob's." And she's like, "You mean the Food Basics?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's Bob's Food Basics." And she's like, there's no Bob up here. That's just Food Basics." And I felt quite foolish. So I'm gonna make that a little bit bigger. And we're gonna feather the edges of it ever so slightly to again give off the haze effect. Just like so. And then, much like with the other painting, we're going to rinse and repeat with these other lights in here. So there's a small little light here, which won't take too much to actually haze around, just like so. That works. That was an easy one. Same with this one here. Haze out a little bit more. Now these in here, what we're gonna do, instead of trying to individually haze around it, we're just gonna do a string of hazy lights here. Ah. But yeah, we're just gonna do a string of haze rather than trying to go around each individual little light. Oh, that's too much paint. Too much paint. And if there's too much haze, you can always just go in with in using the same technique. You can always go in with with just some black paint on the brush and kind of cut the haze down a little bit, which I may end up having to do for this part, but that's okay. That's fairly simple to do. But we're gonna go on this side now. We're gonna have a little bit of a dueling haze here because you've got the haze coming off of this traffic light and then the street lights behind it. Go. There's one up here too. Where is it? Here. We're just gonna kind of cut through a couple that are just going to cut through the haze of the green light. Just like so. Now we're going to move over here. We're going to see if we can cut in some of the haze on some of these lights. This one here. There's one here. And then this area here, I'll just put in some black paint there to cut that out because there's actually nothing there. And below that, what is going on over there? So below that, we're going to do kind of a rectangle of haze because now we're working on a sign. But again, it's not going to be a whole lot of paint. It's just kind of going to be the idea that there's like signage here. But very, very, very little paint on the brush. And then we're going to do some haze for the store in the background. Which I know this all kind of looks messy right now, but it will all eventually come together. Probably not in this stream, but eventually it'll all come together and all kind of make sense. I promise. Scouts on it. Santa never lies. I was wondering, will you add more paints in my shop? Oh, like prints? Yeah, so what I'm actually gonna do, it's one of those things that kind of got lost in the shuffle with the whole move and all that. But my eventual plan, Lord, is to actually all the prints, because I forgot that I have Adobe Illustrator, and with Illustrator, what you can do
is you can vectorize any image that you want, right? So you can blow it up as big as you want, or make it as tiny as you want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up a structure for my prints where they're all custom. Like you can get a print of whatever piece of mine you want, and then I'll get a quote for how much that'll cost, and then I'll give the person who wants to purchase it the quote for that particular print, whatever size they want, whatever within reason. I like, because there's an upper end that, you know, but whatever size they want, whatever painting they want, the dimensions they want, and then whatever that cost will be, you know, plus like the cost of like shipping wherever you may happen to be, you know. So it'll be more that, like, it'll be I just have to put that together. But basically it's going to be like whatever you want a print of, I can have it printed, because I forgot that I had Illustrator and could vectorize basically all of my work. So that's my plan. Which piece, if you don't mind me asking, which is it? Which one's the one that you're interested in? Because I'm curious. Inquiring minds want to know. Yo, does anybody remember that show, Inquiring Minds? Squid, you might, as a fellow Canadian. But it was on TVO. It was a great show. The one face fading. Is it a painting or is it a drawing? For whatever reason, that one's just not springing to mind. Also, was it one of the more recent ones that I've done? Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, we'll figure it out, and we'll get it together. No doubt. But yeah, once I got all that set up, I'm gonna make an announcement for everybody that prints are basically custom. Whatever piece you want, I can make it into a print. Basically, you just give me the piece that you want as a print. I go get a quote, and then I give you a quote for how much it'll cost, and then we go from there. I think it'll work pretty well. And it'll be a lot easier than me trying to like pick which pieces will cycle through the which pieces to cycle through the print thing, you know? Because not all of them are available for prints right now. But it'll make that whole process a lot easier. Oh yeah. The way that I've got it, set up now, I'm able to print it or print. I'm able to ship to Europe. There's an additional cost, of course, because of international shipping, but I have it set up now that I can ship to Europe. So yeah, that'll carry over. No problem. I should actually work on that this weekend. Get that all set up. All right, I'm just gonna take a step back from this painting. Make sure it looks all right. It's very bare bones right now, but it's looks good. Time is it? All right, actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna end it right there, actually, because there's some other stuff that I have to do. But this is a good start. This is a good start. I'll grab the camera to bring you all a little closer. Show you what's happening. So as you can see there, like I said, it's just like a whole bunch of green paint on the haze around, and then some white paint in the center. Gives you that nice hazy look. Then over here is going to be where the store is and all that, and then basically our basic frame up for this entire piece. Thank you, Squid. Chatty Chatham, yes. Go. All right, now angle this down, and we'll say our goodbyes. So thank you all for coming in. Really do appreciate seeing all y'all again. And some extra special thank yous to well, not extra special, they're just special. All my thank yous are special. Thank you to Redria earlier for the glug glug. Really do appreciate that. And let's see who's on right now. Oh, you know what? Redria is on. Speak of the devil. We'll go say hi to Redria. Come on. There we go. Hey, no worries, Lord. Thank you. Thank you for coming in. Yes, I will give that update as soon as possible. And we'll get that all set up. So let me go raid Super Redria. Get rid of the @ Here we go. All right. So yeah, thank you everybody for coming in again. Next stream is gonna be Sunday morning, probably at 10 a.m. Eastern. We're gonna be playing some Celeste again. And then next week we'll actually do our full week of streams in earnest. This week had a few hiccups, but this week coming up, we'll do a full run. The week after we probably won't because it's Christmas and we're gonna be traveling and all that. But yeah, stay tuned for that. I will post that everywhere that I post my schedule: Twitter, Blue Sky, on Twitch. Eventually, when I get to Discord, I'll do it on there too. But yeah, thank you again, everybody, for coming in, and hopefully we'll see you on Sunday. And if not, I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll catch you on the next one. All right, take it easy, everyone.